We're about to start. I'll just wait for everyone to be seated. Yeah. To our council meeting for the 21st of November. We will start with our karakia. Thank you. Now we have no apologies this morning. Public forum, I've had no requests for speaking. Any conflicts of interest declarations from anybody? Nope. I've had no notification of extraordinary business. Confirmation of minutes for the 31st of October. I'll move it to put it on the table. Second, Councillor Duncan beat you to that one. Any changes in that? All those in favour? Those against? Carried. Mayor's report. It's been another really busy month as we count down to Christmas. Have to acknowledge the hikoi that arrived on Sunday and how wonderful it was and how well behaved everyone was. I think it was really good and I hope Mr Seymour listened. We've had 3 fantastic new exhibitions open at Pātaka. Activist Artist, Tako Hall and Rangirua. They're really worth going to have a look. I joined the AOG Pacific Health Expo. Caught up with the Pātanui Lamb and Calf Day. There was a number of people that were there. I'm from the council table, sorry. Plumerton Presbyterian St Barnabas Church celebrated 100 years at the beach in Plumerton. We had a couple of events for that. Joined the Kapimana Forest and Bird catch-up with the volunteers in Plumerton. We've had the secondary school sports awards at the arena. The Postgate School cultural event held at the arena. They hold that every 2 years. That was back and that was awesome. James Ardern and I went and did the prize winners for Choktoberfest with the Urban Bakehouse and the Pepper Mill, and everyone has just had a fantastic time with that. Everyone's been involved. We've had the Pātaka Bottle Creek opening with Liana Latua, the Points of No Return. Ross attended the closing of Whititara exhibition for me when I was away, and Kylie did the Papua New Guinea flag raising for me, so thank you. We had the police graduation wing, another 57 recruits out. Taurama Inspiring Tamariki Through Art. I had the opening of that. That was Porirua East School, 36 students did a term of art. It was a pilot program that Pātaka ran, and hopefully they will get more funding for that and do it again because it was really successful. Plumerton Residents Association had the opening of the plaque and their flax installation at the weekend, along with the Plumerton School Gala, and Trust City Brass Band concert at AT College on Saturday. Had the final game of Western Suburbs football against Western Springs on Sunday, and then citizenship on Monday with another 60 residents sworn in. Judged the Parramatta School speech competitions Tuesday, Monday, lost track. We had a delegation from Yangzhou from China here yesterday. We have a friendly city status with them, so we had a quick catch up for an hour with them. And tonight we have the Shine event and the Wellington Airports Awards, where we wish Te Ranui of the Polyfest group. They're the only ones in the finals there tonight, so that's our one Porirua group up, so hope that goes well. Taku. You have.
But I just want to add the falling of the last soldier belonging to the Māori battalion. Yes. That was celebrated and acknowledged over the passing week. And also the close of Whititara. It's not exactly the close because it'll be back. Just want to remind you of that. And the hikoi yesterday was pretty much a success for all New Zealand. So thank you.
Agree. Thank you. And that moves us to our notice of motion, 11.1. Councillor Filo.
Good morning. I would like to move that the Porirua City Council declares its opposition to the principles of the Treaty of Waitangi Bill currently before Parliament and affirms its opposition in alignment with Te Runanga o Tō Rangatira as our mana whenua partner.
Thank you. Your seconder, Councillor Hayward? Oh, no? Councillor Waihapi. Okay, thank you very much. Hand it back to you, Councillor Filo, to talk to.
On Tuesday, a few of us that were in this room, we stood with over 100,000 plus people in the Wellington City at the grounds of Parliament. We were there to send a clear and a strong message in support of Te Tiriti and in opposition of the ACT Leaders' Treaty Principles Bill. As a council, I think it is, or actually I believe it is important that we take a stand and send a clear message on where we sit within this bill. Because to say nothing is to say that we agree with it. Silence is assent. I do appreciate that for many of us around this table, just like many of, well, like the 100,000 people plus that ascended on Parliament, that this motion is a given, right? That it's a no-brainer. And I want to mihi to Councillor Hayward as well for his whakaaro in this and bringing this idea forward. And as a uri of tō rangatira, I feel really privileged today to be able to move this motion.
Thank you. Who's...
Oh,
sorry, still going. Just show me.
So this bill has sparked many conversations, lots of questions about Te Tiriti and the treaty, and that's a good thing. However, I, like many others, believe that this is not the appropriate vehicle for supporting this important kaupapa. Now, many of us, or many others, might think that as a local government, we shouldn't be meddling or being involved in central government issues or in their politics. And to that I speak to 2 points. First of all, this does affect local government. We are treaty partners. This will affect our work. And secondly, I don't actually believe it's political. Although it is being seen that way or being framed that way by many political parties, Te Tiriti is our country's foundational document. Te Tiriti is not a political tool. In moving this motion today, I'm asking us to be very clear, to make it clear that we do not support the ACT Leaders' Treaty Principles Bill, and that we stand in alignment with our mana whenua partners. As a council, we're already doing this. We're already demonstrating this in our actions, in supporting the hikoi through our communications, our council communications, through the different venues that were put up. This is not something new for us. As a council, we recognise the importance of mana whenua as key partners. Their knowledge, their mana, and their guidance are integral in our decision-making and how we serve our community. So we know that we're already doing this, right? So today is about making a powerful statement to everybody else that as tangata tiriti, as tangata whenua, and as tangata moana, we are committed to Te Tiriti and to our treaty partners, to mana whenua. So by supporting this motion, we demonstrate our values, our commitment to mana whenua, and we stand up for what's right. In kotahitanga and unity, we reject the divisiveness, and we send a clear message that we're committed to honouring Te Tiriti and building our future together as a council, as a city, and as a nation. Kia ora.
Thank you. Who's coming up next? Councillor Haywood.
Kia ora, kura matua me, kaumatua me he kaikanahira katoa. Like others here, I joined tens of thousands of people at Parliament on Tuesday to demonstrate kotahitanga with those opposed to this odious legislation. Councillors, I'm not going to go into the rationale of the proposed notice of motion that I wrote, but I do want to acknowledge that it is our wahine toa that moved and seconded this motion. Thank you very much. That is how we make sure that this isn't about ourselves, it's about our people. I also want to thank those councillors who have also sent me supportive messages as well. I note that this might not be an easy thing to support for some of us here, but it is very easy for me to do so. In the end, all we have as elected representatives here, there, or anywhere is that the record of our word and our vote. It would be very easy for my kōrero to be devoted to anger and rage, but I'm reminded that in moments like this, we must not meet hate with hate. Nevertheless, I twitch when that twerking twerp tutus with titiriti, aided and abetted by the worst of populist politics. Hei aha. I know that you cannot shame a coward into action, and I hope that in time, Rawiri o Ngāti Rehia will reflect and consider that he has been on the wrong course and stop before history entrenches his legacy, as well as those who will be associated with it, willing or otherwise, for that is our tikanga. The threshold for bringing a notice of motion to enable debate must be a high one, and I believe this has more than cleared it. There'll be some who will think that passing this motion today will not fix a pothole, it won't repair a water pipe, it won't even build one more whare. But if we want to solve those challenges and more, we will need partners to that effect. He marakai pai, he kai marapai. A good garden is only as good as its gardener. The relationships that we hold as leaders in the kaleidoscope city that is Porirua rely on unity. That is the example we set and seek for others. Finally, one comment from Tuesday of the array of speakers at the parliamentary grounds that will never leave my memory was that the treaty is not the problem, it is the antidote. That was said by Helmut Modlik of Ngāti Toa, and it is precisely why I urge you all to support this notice of motion. Kia ora.
Thank you. Councillor Wehapi.
Kia ora, and thank you, Councillor Haywood, for your forward thinking and bringing and writing this, but also I want to tautoko Councillor Whilaw's position and your kōrero. It was really beautiful. I don't have much else to add other than Mr. doesn't deserve a mention, actually his name. All he's done here is actually bring most New Zealanders together and actually for a good thing. And it was incredibly positive to see. And I was here at Ngāti Toa Domain on Monday, and again, it was a very inclusive event, and it was, Ngāti Toa were very welcoming to everybody, and the event was it was incredible just to be there, if not anything else. So anyway, obviously I support this. And I hope that you all do too. Kia ora.
Thank you. Councillor Ford.
I want to, probably everyone around this table, want to thank Councillor Haywood for all his work behind the scenes to bring this notice of motion to the table. And I think we're very fortunate that today an uri of Ngāti Toa is an elected member of our Kaunihera and was able to move the motion. But also we've got other links to Ngāti Toa sitting around the table. Councillor Ngalo is married to a very lovely wahine toa from Ngāti Toa. Strongest woman, the strongest woman. He's a scared man. And of course, Councillor Johnson has links to Ngāti Toa by way of Ngāti Koata as well. I sit around this table with no links to our mana whenua Ngāti Toa. I am a New Zealand-born Samoan who is a tangata tiriti, a tangata moana. I'm a councillor that exists in a structure not created by tangata whenua, but by manuhiri. And to be fair, I personally dislike any party politics at our local government level. And when Councillor Hayward first emailed us with this, it felt like we were possibly moving out of our lane. And I think I'm probably one of the people around this table that hates it when central government pokes their nose into our lane. And I'm happy to tell them about it too. But this is more than that. This is about honouring our relationship with our mana whenua. This is about our partnership as a Kaunihera manuhiri with our mana whenua Ngati Toa. So I'm in full support.
Thank you. Councillor Trillen?
Kia ora, thank you. I don't have much more to add beyond what has been said, but there was just a small thing I wanted to reflect on. I agree that this is a given. We should absolutely be supporting this, and I'm really, really proud that this has come to the table. And what I want to reflect on is that the show of support that we saw on Tuesday through the hikoi shows that this is a different Aotearoa New Zealand to the one of 40 years ago that some people appear to still be living in. And reflecting on the words of Councillor Hayward about not meeting hate with hate, given the assault on the rights of Māori, I think the response to this, they would have had every right to respond with anger and have chosen not to. Instead, on Tuesday, the main emotion that I felt was joy, pride, and it was beautiful and inspiring and like nothing that I've ever been privileged to be part of before. That's the Aotearoa that I want to live in, and that's the Aotearoa that I'm really proud to vote in an endorsement of today. We're standing in solidarity with our community and our partnership with mana whenua, and I'm incredibly proud to support this motion. Kia ora.
Thank you. Councillor Nalo?
Morena. So I just want to speak for the people that I was surrounded by on Sunday when we were at the kitchen facilities at Upane, the Whitireia kitchen facilities, preparing the kai for the manuhiri that was coming on to Takapuahia. And to keep it simple, it was just that this bill is inflicting a lot of pain and mamai against our people. And when I say our people, I speak for my wife and my two daughters. So I was unable to attend the hikoi because I was told to te mahi, had to go work. But my wife and my daughters went and attended. Quite simply for me, anything that inflicts that kind of mamai on people around me, specifically my wife and my kids, I can't support. So my message simple today is I'll be voting with everybody else who is in motion of this. Special mention to the people that came on Sunday to Takapuahia. And if you want to know what this means to Porirua, you should have saw what Wanita Drive was like. We had our Cook Island drums out, we had our Siva Samoa out, we had our Siva Afi out. So that's what this means to Porirua, and I'm sure that's just a fraction of what it means to New Zealand. And for that reason, I'll be standing with my wife and my kids and going against this bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Johnson?
Support here, and thanks to my fellow councillors for the work that you've put into presenting today. I'm absolutely in support of the motion. I couldn't believe when it came up in discussion around when the government was kind of talking about where they were standing quite some time ago now, and it's been really beautiful to see that how opposition to the bill has been carried out. So, yeah, very quickly, totally in support of this motion, and thanks to everybody who's worked hard to get it here today.
Thank you. Councillor Duncan?
Yeah, thanks to everybody for all the work that's gone into this notice of motion. I think, for me, the fact that 95% of parliamentarians say the bill shouldn't be there speaks volumes for the country itself. And I think the pressure probably should be going on to shorten the length of the time that the bill will be before Parliament, because that's the divisiveness of this bill. I certainly support what's going on here today. Thanks.
Thank you. No? Anybody else? Okay, just me. I obviously support it. I'm appalled that we're actually here. Like everybody else, this should never have made it past somebody's mouth. And I think we're going to have 6 months of of issues, and let's just put a smile on those issues and support our iwi locally and everything. Sorry, Taku, I haven't forgotten you. I thought I'd let you go last. Yeah. So very frustrated, but it was nice to see, as you said, Josh, the atmosphere that went with it and the support from the country. So it's 100% support. So I'll hand it over to you, Taku.
I just want to say how I feel at this time, and to get a bit of courage to say working together, the council and tangata whenua, I don't think there's any other council that does it so well and meaningfully and trustfully. And I think you can all take your hats off as a council. For a long, long time, we've always endeavoured to work with our council over many years, and I think we've just taken it to another level. And so I just want to thank those that have presented the bill in the first instance, Jeff, and for my niece here for seconding it, and for the real humble and gratitude to Kylie as the representative around council, but more so the council as a collective. I thank you very, very much from the bottom of Ngāti Toa's heart. Kia ora.
Thank you. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favour? All those against? Carried, 100%. Thank you. 11 point... Are you going to... Yes, I know, before I move. Thank you. Would you like to repeat what you said, Taku, with the mic on? Because people online couldn't hear it.
Just in translation or meaning around that little waiata is actually a proverb left by our chief te raupara for this generation anyway. And it talks about the first word or line says, when the spirit is awakened, when the body is alert and well and healthy, when love is unconditional, enlightenment will follow. So that's the words to that little waiata there.
Thank you. Okay, we move to our next report, which is 11.2, Te Awarua o Porirua, the Harbour Accord. I feel like this has been forever. In all my 15 years, I've been through a number of these, so this one better stick and we better do what we've promised to do and fix our harbour. So I'm going to move it. Who's going to second it? Councillor Hayward. Could you come up for discussion? I think... who's introducing it? Which staff member? Mike?
Thank you, Mayor Baker. As you've already mentioned, this has been a long time coming. There's been a lot of toing and froing, a lot of hard mahi that's gone into this that I would like to acknowledge. We have a massive aspiration of here, of course, which our budget doesn't actually match at the moment. Mm-hmm. But I'd like to point out that we are working on that through the local water done well that you'll be considering over the next 6 months or so. So those two things are not incongruent. The document you have in front of you is a draft. I've seen a mock-up of what the actual document is going to look like, and it looks fantastic. So please don't be fooled by what you have in front of you, because the actual draft looks terrific. I'll leave it at that, Mayor Baker. I think the report speaks for itself.
Okay, thank you. Would you like to comment, Raruri, before anyone?
Thank you. For those of you who don't know me, Rawiri Faulkner, I'm the Poutoa Matarau at Tirinongo Tō Rangatira, so I help oversee the environmental, cultural and settlements team at the Runanga. I just want to make a couple of comments before we move forward, and as Mike and the Mayor have said, it's pretty self-explanatory, but I just want to make one comment, and it is that as important as it is for the council to move the previous motion about the impact that the Treaty Principles Bill can have, it is highly likely that within the next 6 months that will die, right? But the things that we need to fix and whakamana our natural resources will continue to endure harm and hardship. And there is not one thing, Treaty Principles Bill included, that is more important to Ngāti Toa than the health and well-being of our harbour. So as important as the previous takea was, I am convinced that it will be just bluster from the opposition and a bunch of right-wing think tank people who are committed to creating, a profile. But when that bill dies in 6 months' time, put it this way, if it doesn't die in 6 months' time, it'll probably be World War III. But when that bill dies, the impact of our activities on our harbour will endure. And so I ask you to think about that and think about what it is we as a council and elected representatives alongside mana whenua and the community want our future generations to remember, and the actions that we took to create an opportunity for them to reconnect to the harbour in an authentic and meaningful way. Because at the moment, that can't be done. And so the Harbour Accord is one step towards what we need to be doing as a community, but it's an important step. So, I just wanted to say that in the context of today's hui, that I think it's important to note that and know that nothing is more important than what's before you now to Ngāti Toa. Kia ora.
Thank you. Now, who's our first speaker up? Councillor Hayward, then Councillor Duncan.
Kia ora no, kia ora Rawiri, mo tō whakaro te whakamana o te moana me he mea moana. I'm just trying to remind myself of the anecdote that Taku talked about, the pipis being in the Onopoto Harbour being the biggest and the fattest and so forth. And I always remind myself that, with due respect, the ones up in Makatu were bigger. Ai, mai maki ki tonga riro ahau. The point being that the phrase Māori order approach is, for me, the critical component about how this agreement needs to strike its focus. So I am glad that the inclusion of that language in the draft and the work of officers and others from other parties, including Rangatira o Toa, is important in terms of how we move forward. I agree as well. Nothing that we do is going to, be defined other than the quality of the water for our mokopuna beyond us. So we can't do that on our own. We have to do that together. And with that, I support. Kia ora.
Thank you. Councillor Duncan?
Yeah, look, it's very difficult to disagree with anything in this accord that's here. The one thing I come back to is what you mentioned early, Mike, was it's all unbudgeted stuff that we don't have budget for. And you talk about that things may change under water done well, that'll still be ratepayers are paying for that. How is this affordable? How is all of this affordable?
I'm not sure you're going to get an answer from that one. Yes, you may.
Just in response to that, and obviously I'm not going to answer the question about how it's going to be paid for, because that's way outside my lane. But I just want to make the following comment. There will never be enough budget in the system to address the issues we have in front of us, right? Never. Even if we gave billions, it's not enough, right? So the reality is if we're looking at affordability as the first measure of our actions and our leadership, we're looking in the wrong place. What we need to be doing is looking at what it is we want to do with the investment that we have available, but start with those community outcomes and then look at ways in which we can fiscally deliver on those things. I think if we start with money and how we spend the money, I don't think we'll get the sophisticated or nuanced outcomes we want. And look, realistically, I know everything has a fiscal, thing. But at the end of the day, I would be very disappointed if that was the starting point for the conversation. And I hope the Accord does enough to encourage us to look for bold leadership in order to invest in, not fund, but invest in the things that matter for the community and matter in the long term. Because I don't think there'll ever be enough money to pay, there'll ever be enough budget, but that's just my opinion. It's easy for me to say, I'm not, making that decision, but hey.
Thank you. Councillor Trillin.
Thank you. Yeah. Bold vision, leadership, I think is where we have to start from on this. I think when we are talking about the future of our city and the way in which we're working in partnership with our mana whenua and what we're trying to achieve, you got to start with where we're trying to go and work backwards from there. And what this does, I think, is that it sets the parameters for that, the vision that we have, where we want to go, what we want to achieve. Everyone around this table, if we could fix the problems with the harbour by clicking our fingers, we would do it immediately. We all know that we would do that. And I think this is a commitment to say, we have all agreed many times that there's plenty of things we disagree about around this table. The one thing that we all seem to agree on always is that the harbour is of utmost importance. And this is a recommitment to that. So I'm very, very happy to support this. I think we say this is where we want to go, and then we find a way. And we have to go away and do that work to find a way, but this is where we have to start. So I'll be supporting this. Kia ora.
Porirua City Council are leaders in this space already. When we look at the types of investment that Porirua City Council has made to improving the resilience of infrastructure and water, you're already leading in this space. So yeah, just keep leading. Yeah.
Councillor Leggett.
I don't think many people want to keep bleeding, or they've lost enough blood already, actually. Look, I'm 100% support this. What you say is right, Josh, in terms of setting ourselves some goals. I just wanted to say that, and I agree with Mike as well, in terms of, it does all come down to money, ultimately. However, there are actions that we can take as individuals, and I walk around this place quite a lot as a dog owner with a dog on the end of the leash, right, on the end of the lead. What I see, all right, and I take plastic bags and I pick up my dog's feces. But these are, what are the small things that we can do that don't cost money? All us dog owners, and it's probably every single one of us, could take account of what their dog does when they take them out for a walk and pick up their dog feces, which would help prevent some of the pollution that goes into the harbour, our harbours now, all right? So that's just one small thing that we can do. And the other thing is, I tell you what, there are 5,600 dogs in this place, right? There are 60,000 humans. Most of ours goes into the sewage treatment plant. A lot of dogs, some gets overflowed. We know. Dogs don't. A lot of dogs don't. So, and the other thing we can do is, and these are things that don't cost anything, is think about where we throw our rubbish and do those sort of things as well, rather than on the ground. So, simple things, but we can do it and we can make a difference.
Thank you. Anybody else? Councillor Waddle.
Yeah, like it's been mentioned already, I think it's great to see this finally back at the table, ready to go. It's been a long time coming. It's not only for the 5 partners I see here, or it's a good example of partnership, going back to our previous discussions and what will unfortunately continue for 6 months. I think this is a wonderful starting point. It's great that we're going to get there and start doing something for our harbour, which has been so neglected for so long, and it's brilliant that it's finally here. So, yeah.
Thank you. Yes, Councillor Duncan.
Yeah, I just want to commend Ngāti Toa's work with the clean-up around the harbour when they get people down there. I mean, I picked up 3 bags of rubbish from that clean-up and tyres and stuff. That's a good start, isn't it? And there's no cost there.
Thank you. Councillor Leggett again.
Sorry, I just...
That's all right.
So this is my point about things like this. I've done harbour clean-ups and all the rest of it. You're picking stuff up, that's fantastic. It all comes back, isn't it? It all comes back. And how do you change people's behaviour to prevent that in the first place? So, I mean, to me, that's the issue. It's all about our individual behaviours.
Thank you. I personally think this is awesome. I committed in the very beginning when I signed council under Nick Leggett that we would fix the harbour within 50 years. We're trying to do it within 30 years. This brings Wellington City Council on board in the sense that they're putting a lot of stuff our way, and what are they responsible for? Not a lot. So I think it's a matter of being a team. I look at Whakaritenga Drive and all the rubbish that's there at the back of the mega centre. I get complaints on that all the time. Who's looking after that? And that's going straight into our harbour. And we all join the harbour cleans and we're planting all these trees. But we do need to look at other ways to do things as well. There's always a different way. We don't have to do the same stuff every year. And yes, it boils down to money, but actually it's what we want and it's our achievement. And I want that harbour back to as it was when I grew up. I could swim in the harbour. Yep, there was no silt in there. There was no silt in there. You are right, Izzy. Whitby brought the silt in. So, I remember those days. And yes, I'm old. So it has to work. But before I put it, does anyone else want to say anything? No, Taku? No, you're right. All right. All those in favour? All those against? Carried. Thank you for coming in. That brings us to the end of our meeting, 9:07.